Neena Gill.
Thank you, Chair. President, you rightly highlighted that we finally have green shoots of growth in the EU and optimistic outlook for the economy. And I believe ECB does deserve credit for this. However, there's always a however, I'm concerned by a couple of developments that could just make it a blip in the upswing. Firstly, on the 10th of January, you wrote a letter to my coordinator expressing concern that Brexit may lead to a loss of oversight of supervision of UK CCPs by the ECB. You also said that it would be important to find solutions that at least preserve or ideally enhance the current level of supervision and oversight. However, according to sectoral players, a policy that prevents CCPs located outside the euro area to clear certain euro products for EU members and clients will have significant economic consequences, as such policy would constrain the ability of these key financial institutions to contribute to growth, innovation and financing of the real economy. Experts like Tim Massad are concerned that a restricting euro clearing could adversely affect anyone who pays taxes or has a bank loan or a deposit or a pension plan. And this really would be a lose-lose situation. So against this background, do you share the view that drastic euro allocation policy to challenge the international status of the euro as a reserve, trading and anchor currency, there's also a risk that there could be retaliatory measures from other jurisdictions which would have an impact on EU-based financial institutions. And you said in a response to my colleague Jakob von Weizsäcker that you emphasised that ECB must have a role on CCPs, and I accept that. But wouldn't it be more prudent to have a better cooperation between the Bank of England and the ECB? And this would provide the best outcome for a continuing growth of the European economy. And my second point, very quickly, is about non-performing loans, and you answered most of my point to the earlier question. My concern is what you're suggesting, won't that take too long? And is there a quick way of trying to address the non-performing loans issue? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, right now the ECB is involved in the oversight of UK CCPs through the supervisory colleges established by EMIR and a dedicated memorandum of understanding with the Bank of England. Our cooperation with the Bank of England and the legal certainty afforded by the authority of the European Court of Justice, this framework enables us to monitor the risks to our currency. Now, it's too early to take a firm stance on the regulatory framework that should be established once the UK leaves the EU. But our core concern will be that financial stability and investor protection, as well as having a level playing field for all euro area consumers, citizens and companies, must be established. More especially, in particular, what is important is that we don't step back on the single market. And to be part and parcel of the single market means to be subject to the European Court of Justice. So we'll have to look carefully at that part. As I said, it's still too early to say. Now, on your second point, which is the quick, is there a quick way to address the NPLs? Unfortunately, there isn't. It's one of the reasons why the problem has been lingering for so long. It's certainly a major challenge for some European banks and for some European countries. It's one of the main factors that keep bank profitability at the Eurozone or European level low. There are also other factors. Of course, an environment with low rates and low growth is also contributing. A situation of, I would say, overcrowded sector is also contributing. But certainly, especially in certain countries, the legacy of high stock of NPLs is taking off energy off the banking system and lowering profitability. As I was saying before, what one needs is a comprehensive strategy where national reforms in the sectors that I mentioned before, namely judiciary, legal, regulatory, are essential. More particularly, NPLs are a legacy problem. To introduce new legislation which only addresses the future NPLs is not really very helpful. One would have to have legislation that addresses the legacy, especially considering that the improvement in economic conditions has overall benefited the situation. NPLs nowadays are growing much less or even are going down thanks to the improvement in economic conditions. As far as the ECB SSM is concerned, you know that we've been publishing for public consultation a draft guideline on NPLs. It's a qualitative document, and it's going to be published in its final form in the early part of this year. Thank you.
Thank you.